Welcome back to the Masters of Recon podcast, formerly known as the PDR Coach podcast. If you're looking to launch your career after physical PDR training, then make sure you focus on the business side just as much as you do on the pushing side. You need to learn to push dense, and you need to learn about how to get dense to push. The PDR Launchpad program has been completed by dozens of other new PDR technicians, and it helped them get their business off the ground. It's a 30-part video course that teaches you literally everything you need to know about starting a new paintless dent repair business. You'll learn things like creating a business entity, which insurances to have, creating a logo, branding yourself, social media, in-person and online sales, phone skills, short-term and long-term marketing strategies, how to expand your business, and several mindset tools that I use in my coaching, my one-on-one high-dollar coaching clients. You can find the program at denttrainer.com/courses/PDR Launchpad. Again, denttrainer.com/courses/PDR Launchpad. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the PDR Coach Podcast Trainers Edition, where I interview the top trainers in our industry for you so that you can make the best decision on where to go learn the art and skill of PDR. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you.
What's going on,
man? Quick question. You said the top trainers. Did you mean the top trainer, or was there supposed to be an S on that?
I'm unbiased. I'm the unbiased man behind the curtain.
No, I got you. I just kidding.
Question number one: what is your name and the name of your training school?
My name is Brian Jump, and the training school is Superior Auto Institute, sometime known as SAI.
And what is the website where they can find that?
The website, Corey, is going to be at superiorautoinstitute.com.
And where is your training facility located?
We are conveniently located in Southern California in the city of Laguna Hills. That's our headquarters. And we've got satellite offices in Denver, Orlando, and Austin, Texas.
Gotcha. Were you, are you, or have you ever been a technician? If so, for how long?
Wow, man, you sound like an attorney.
I know. I told you it's going to be very methodical.
This is very methodical, very technical. Well, Your Honor, let's see. I was, and I still am a technician. I started in 1992.
Oh, nice. Okay. Why did you start a training school?
I started a training school, Corey, because you couldn't go out and find technicians back in 92, 93. And although there was one company way back in the day called US Dent, who trained a lot of dealer staff. I think they were out of Oklahoma City, maybe. They're no longer with us, but I did get one tech out of their school. But other than that, I had to train all my staff. So we originally did that. And then other people heard about us and then started hitting us up to train their dealer staff, body shops, so forth and so on.
Gotcha. Do you have any handle on how many technicians that you've trained over the years?
Not to the T, but I know it's pretty much over 1,500 at this point.
Gotcha. I don't think I asked what year you started training. Sorry.
We basically started this in year one. So in late 92 is,
okay.
Yeah, I trained that technician that came US Dent. I trained his brother, Fabian, and then I trained my brother and then extended friends and family and anybody that we could get into to help us start handling all the auction and dealer work and all that fun stuff.
Gotcha. And so you said probably 1,500-ish plus. Do you have any idea how many are still pushing today?
You know, that's a tough call. I remember reading that question because I appreciate you giving me these questions in advance. It's got to be close to a little more than half. I hear from still hundreds of them, Corey, which is cool. And I mean, people, you imagine there wasn't training in Australia back in the day. There wasn't training in the UK or South America. So Japan, Taiwan, all these guys had to come over. So I still, Instagram hasn't been around that long. So some of those guys started. I hear from guys still that, hey, I trained back with you in 99 or something. And I'm just a dealer tech, I'm not even on Instagram kind of thing. Or they're flipping over. So it's, to answer that question in a really long way, I still talk to hundreds of them, but if I had to guess, I'd say more than half.
All right. During your training program, how many do you train at once simultaneously?
Yeah. Back in the day, we did quite a bit more, but right now it's about quality, Corey. So my happy spot is 1 to 2.
Gotcha. Why should a new technician pick your training school? What's unique about going to SAI?
Right. Well, first of all, I enjoy doing it. I don't need to do it. I'm not saying I'm Warren Buffett, but from a financial standpoint, or Charlie Munger or any of these, the big wigs. But no, after all those years, Corey, we've done quite a bit. And we've done some smart things with our money, but I enjoy that connection, first of all. It's kind of like my happy spot is when I train somebody, and I really don't train for my own company anymore. When I need a new tech, I usually broker or hire somebody out because there's enough guys out there now. But when I'm going to train somebody, let's say it's going to be a young family guy. Like I just trained a guy who's from Brazil, currently living in Colorado, and he's got a young baby and a wife. Those are the kind of guys that I like to train. I'm not so much the guy for, let's say, the retirees or the hobbyists, because at the end of the day, as the tech, it's a lot of work. It involves a lot. So that's kind of where my sweet spot is. I want to get with somebody who's really going to devote their time. And if somebody is that kind of person, it's kind of like I'm flipping the question, so to speak. So why should somebody pick us? Well, at the same time, I kind of pick them too. I want them to put the time in, Corey. I want them to devote their mental approach. I want them to get a permission from any loved ones that they're going to need that time, and give them that time and space to put it in, because it takes a lot of time. So why should they pick us? Number one, I'm going to be there behind them, and I'm going to push them. As long as they're in for the long haul, I'm in for the long haul. We are a retail store, so they're going to be eventually working on our customers' cars. So they dang well better know what the heck they're doing when they do. I've got a technician that's sitting 10 feet from me right now, a former student who's here helping me out today, as a matter of fact. So that leads credence to that. We do what's called pre-training. So before somebody comes into train, Corey, we actually, it takes months, if not longer, to learn it. So one of my little things is, I realized that years ago for my own techs. So I actually want people practicing some fundamentals and some little homework before they come in and train. So that's another thing we do. We call it pre-training. So it's all that. It's training at a retail store. It's doing the pre-training. It's going to be stressful. I'm not going to BS somebody and tell them that it's going to be a walk down sugar trails. But at the same time, if they want to learn it, they're going to be pushed. They're going to have to grind. They're going to be doing 10, 12-hour days. That's what we do. We're not. This isn't the Club Med or the Hyatt. This is it's a lot. And if I could take it even a little bit farther, because that's a big question. Mm-hmm. From a technical, I made some notes here, so you can tell I'm prepared for this.
That's fine,
Your Honor. They're going to work on customer cars when they're ready. Not on day one. I don't want to fix up broken paint and everything. We use induction coils, which you know what those are. We deal with metal stabilization. We do with doing not only big dents, but big dents quick. We make custom tools in-house. So a lot of the stuff, like our special tap down, the stuff, they're not even available on the market. Some special screw-on tips for big dents. So it's, there's a lot there, but it's what I've learned over doing this stuff for almost 3 decades, Corey. It's, I'm old man, grandpa PDR, and I'm not saying it's the best, but it's worked for my people and for my students. So that's in a nutshell, a big nutshell, kind of what's different and unique to us.
Gotcha. That's an answer for you.
Yep.
Where was I here? Can you summarize your philosophy on PDR training and how that works?
Right. Well, I kind of even touched on a little bit back in that answer, so I won't repeat it, but the person has to dedicate themselves. That's my philosophy. I've seen it both ways. I've seen people, let's say I get a guy that's from a dealer, Corey, and the dealer wants him to train, but the dealer's paying for it, right? And so how vested is that person really going to be when the bill is being paid by somebody else? How accountable are they going to be? How much thought process and devotion are they going to be to the process? So my philosophy is a person has to mentally be ready and physically be available to put the time in. And then when it comes to actually learning the process, it's not video, it's not spoken words, in my opinion. I think the best way to learn is hands-on, tangible, doing it. So that's why I think the idea of having a retail store and having students actually work on cars and watching us do repairs in and out of the training, I think that really kind of brings them along at a fast pace versus, let's say watching video or trying to do remote training.
Gotcha. And I missed this question too. I apologize. So
go
I
ahead.
asked how many you train at a time. You said 1 to 2. How long is the training?
The training on average, Corey, is 1 to 2 weeks.
Mhm.
We go as long as 4 weeks. I generally don't go longer than that because I haven't really seen a need for it. Typically, somebody who needs to go longer than that, unless they're working for us and they're doing like an apprenticeship, let's say. Typically, more than 1 or 2 weeks hasn't been a need. I mean, most of these guys, especially if they're doing that pre-training where they're already putting in hours in advance, that's kind of the goal. So yeah, 1 to 4 weeks, averaging, let's say 2.
Gotcha. What do you offer your trainees outside of the physical PDR training? For example, tools or a list to get some tools, not the right tools, get some tools, or providing them actual physical tools with the package? Or do you help them with PDR pricing, marketing, sales, website, anything else outside of just physical PDR training?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. Well, obviously the main thing they're typically coming to us, if they're coming as a new student, it's going to be the physical training. So that's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, because we have to take a lot of breaks so their eyeballs don't fall out of their skulls during the training, because everybody wants to, Superman laser beam the dance at the beginning because their brains don't quite understand how to conceptually read a light. We do meetings usually in the morning and the afternoons, and then usually when we're eating. So it's usually 2 to 3 meetings. We break those meetings up, Corey, into what we do. We do marketing meetings essentially, and those will comprise themselves of Mobile Tech RX run-throughs. We'll have the students actually ride shotgun out in the parking lot. We're doing estimates with the customers, and then we'll do Q&As. We do what I call smart pricing, where we not just go off of what Mobile Tech spits out, but let's say you've got a 2000 Kia versus a 2022 Porsche Carrera. Is it going to be the same price on Mobile Tech? We talk about how to adjust off of that. Marketing wise, we talk a little bit about how, the online space, like how to set up a Google and a Yelp and a Facebook, Instagram, and all that. Not a deep dive. It's basically like an introduction. They do get paperwork on that. If they need a business strategy or they want to know how to set up a legit business, let's say business insurance, let's say a DBA, getting checkbooks or running credit card payments for retails, whatever. We do go through that. But once again, it's not a deep dive. This is stuff just to basically get them started. Additional stuff that we might do outside of physical, solely PDR. We'll cover a little bit of R&I through the class, although it's not full R&I. We're not going to break down, Corey, how to pull down a headliner on a Saab 9000, or how to take off all the trim and stuff. But we'll go into basics. We go into paint polishing, because that is, even though we call it paintless, it's everything but that. There's a lot of paint involvement. So we show them how to polish and buff and color sand and what have you as necessary. So there's quite a bit. I mean, but to your point, the thing that there's a good idea for what you do, because we don't go deep. We don't cover how to go out and get auctions or dealer groups or things like that. It's it's a good thing that you're out there filling this gap, because like you could see, we start the engine, but to continue it going down the road, there's going to be other things that most people are going to need.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And just to anything with tools?
Sorry, tools. Yes, we manufacture tools in-house. Basically what we'll do is some people will electrocute tools. Some people will not. Some people have already bought tools, which is fine. I ask them to bring them to class if they have bought additional brands, so they become familiar with them instead of using ours. We don't provide everything for everybody. So let's, for example, say that they want to add on and they want to go pretty crazy on glue pulling. So we'll guide them through Kiko's website, for example. Mm-hmm. We'll introduce them to Keith's stuff, at Black Plague and so forth and so on. So since glue pulling is a large part of the training, we do go through that as well. That's part of the morning meetings. We do obviously that's part of the physical training too, the glue pulling, but where to get the stuff, what's the right stuff to buy? Should I buy, a Kiko slide hammer, Corey, or a lifter, or should I go get a cheap Chinese one? And, all that. We cover all that stuff because that's key to doing good dance.
Sure. Do you teach anything to them about ergonomics or protecting your body while performing this physical skill?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I'm in my 50s. Like I said, I'm grandpa. And if I didn't obey the laws and the rules of proper body positioning and proportions, I probably wouldn't be able to do this still as Grandpa PDR. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you we're yoga experts here. We do hot yoga in between, but at the same time, for example, you know about Dent Wizard and Dent Pro and how I call it the upside down approach to doors. You know, we teach the upright, which I think you made notes about that. But some people either know people who've done Dent Wizard and they do what they call the upside down, which I'll demonstrate that. And some people might like that better. Mm-hmm. And then of course, when it comes to pushing like pick tools, like let's say you're going to do hail and you'll see people grab a pick tool and they hold it with their palm facing up instead of palm down, which I think is just it's a precursor to having carpal and having wrist problems. So, we go through all that because, I mean, like I told you, if you're going to put 10 to 12 hours a day in pushing metal during training, these guys are going to be beat up if they're not doing it right. So yeah, I mean, we do cover quite a bit of that.
Awesome. Yeah. Even you'll still be sore either way, whether you're holding the tool right.
Well, yeah. Of course.
Do you train with lines, fog, or both?
We do both. I'm a proponent that they both have something to offer. And I think there's a caveat to that, Corey. So let's say somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to be a hail tech. I'm from Dallas or, San Antonio or something. And you know what? I'll show them lines, but you and I know most guys who do hail don't use lines. And there's a reason for it. It doesn't mean you can't, but most guys just get away with fog and they do good, clean work and they make fantastic livings at it. But primarily I'll show them both because at the end of the day, it's more data and that makes you more powerful.
Yeah. You kind of answered this in that last question. Do you train for route work or hail or both?
Both. Cause everybody, we get a lot, like I said, it goes back to what I said earlier. I kind of pick my students to some extent, Corey. If I don't want hobbyists, I've trained retirees, but they're just not vested. So I kind of push them to other schools when I hear some guy saying, hey, I'm retired and I think I'd like to do this in between my needle point, well, I'm not for you, bud, but because at the end of the day, like I said, we're going to put way too much effort in to help some guy push a dent a month. I don't want that. But yeah, we do hail, we do route, retail. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, like it's to the San Antonio guy, for example, I'm gonna focus most of my time on top panels, of course, especially if they're only here for 2 weeks and I've only got so much time. But they'll still understand side panels too, because you get a hail car like we had one here last week. It doesn't mean we're not gonna take the Dortings out at the same time. So. Mm-hmm.
You kind of mentioned this one a little bit too. Do you teach working inverted or right side up?
Yeah, well, normally right side up because I didn't come from the school of the Wiz or Dent Pro, like I said. I mean, so yeah, we go right side up most of the
time. Do you offer advanced courses? So outside of that 1 to 2 weeks or maybe up to 4 weeks, is there an additional course or is the advanced course the week 3 and 4? Or how do you handle that?
Corey, hold on 1 second, yeah. Okay?
No problem.
Hey, what's happening? Car's done. And if you want to run a payment, I think it was $250, right? Does that sound right? Okay, cool. Awesome. I'm actually doing a quick podcast right now. That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Thank you, Mike. Sorry about that, Corey.
It's okay.
All right. Repeat the question if you wouldn't mind.
Do you offer advanced courses?
We do.
Outside of the 1 to 2 or 4 weeks?
Yeah. After 1 year, they're eligible after 12 months to they get a free advanced course. It's a 2-day course. The caveat, the prerequisite is that they're basically a full-blown practicing technician if they want to come back. I've had some guys want to come back for advanced, but they didn't stick through the course and didn't really, fulfill their promises as an advancing PDR tech. But for those that do, yeah, it's a 2-day advanced course. It's free.
Cool.
Thanks, Mike.
Do you train any techs for any large companies or manufacturers?
We do. Yeah. Very proud of that. BMW has used us twice, the factory. Ferrari one time. We did Rolls-Royce. Who else? Toyota. So yeah. And then of course dealer groups as well too.
Mm-hmm. Do you offer any sort of like certification or anything or like a graduation certificate? And if you do, what is it based on?
Right. Well, by the state of California, we have to abide by all the educational and Department of Consumer Affairs laws and rules. Anybody that trains in the state is supposed to, and it's punishable by law. So based on that, we have to operate as an educational facility, Corey. We get a certificate of completion, which has weight in such that if somebody wanted to get employed, they can prove to their employer that they went through a bona fide school that is listed and recognized by the state, an educational facility, and not some, random whatever. Do we do a certification? That's a little bit different language. I don't subscribe to it, nor do I offer it, because at the end of the day, like I told you earlier, I'm a technician, and we do hail, we do auctions, we do dealers. We pretty much cover every facet of PDR, and because the industry, to my knowledge and opinion, doesn't recognize any certification. Not to say that I wouldn't be for it in the future, but because I don't believe there is one out there right now that is industry wide. I therefore don't offer anything to that extent.
Gotcha. All right. Last couple of questions. What are the package options? So the 1 week, 2 week, maybe 4 week, and the cost of those.
Right. Going right back to what we said, the state mandates what I can charge. They cap me. So the max that I charge per week is $2,500, and the tool packages, we can often run those in and out of the options with students based on certain promotions that we'll run throughout the year, Corey. But basically it just goes between 1 and 4 weeks.
Oh, if you want 1 week, it's 2,500, 2 is 5,000, 3 is 7,500.
Yep.
Okay.
That's pretty much the way it goes.
And the advanced 2 day is free as long as you have been fixing dents. Got it.
Yeah.
How can potential clients pay you?
Check, cash, card, Bitcoin, crypto.
All things. Got it.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Last question is kind of more of a fun one. Where do you see the future of PDR going, and kind of how are you adding to that?
Yeah. Well, we're already seeing it. The cool thing about PDR, Corey, and this is a tech and a service, and your family's involved, which is cool. More insurance is becoming more insurance companies are becoming more involved with us. If you could acknowledge that. The retail consumers it's permeating the space. It's becoming more of an option now. People know the paintless stain repair and PDR phrase is becoming more commonplace, meaning we're getting more business just because the market's they're becoming more educated. It's so much better now in 2021 than it was in 1991, So that I see more of that. I think with global warming, and you're sitting probably in 100-degree plus weather right now up north, I'm sitting at 90. I think the focus on green and our air and going as green as we possibly can, PDR is that option, Corey. So I think you may see grants given to some of us. You might see different opportunities, like I said, because of insurance, because of not welding on vehicles and instead doing more glue pulling. There's just so much technology is coming down the road. We got magnetics. Maybe you've heard of ultrasound that Bentley's been working with. There's some cool stuff that's out there that's starting to kind of get into our industry, and it's really exciting. So I see it getting better all the way around. More money, better repairs, bigger repairs. It's just, these are exciting times.
Awesome, dude. I appreciate you coming on and recording that for some potential clients.
Yeah, I appreciate the time and asking all the questions. And as always, it's great talking with you, Corey. And hopefully it's not too uncomfortable. You don't look like you're sweating. It must be pretty good air conditioning in that house here.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on. We'll talk soon.
Hey, my pleasure. Take it easy.
Are you looking for a job instead of starting your own paintless stain repair business? Or are you trying to expand your business with another technician? That's exactly why we built recruitatech.com. Visit the website to create your own job seeker or employer profile. The website is one of a kind. You can actually upload photos and videos of your work. No more paper resumes, all photo and video showing exactly what you can do. If you're a job seeker, you can post before and after photos and videos of your work to your potential new employer. Or if you're an employer looking for a new employee to add to the team, you can showcase what your work environment looks like, and what you're looking for in an employee, all in video form. In addition, even if you're not looking for a job or an employee, you can go create a totally free profile at recruitatech.com and can potentially pick up contract work with other local technicians. So again, go check it out, make a free profile, recruitatech.com, recruitatech.com.